clashes between herders and farmer communities has taken a deadly and bloody turn. Throughout the year, more reports about other attacks in other communities across the country showed a pattern that was not only shocking but worrying. As at the time we completed our research, 2018 alone had over 2,000 deaths. The Nigerian government has displayed what can only be described as gross incompetence and has failed in its duty to protect the lives of its population and end the intensifying conflict between herders and farmer communities. The authorities' lethargy has allowed impunity to flourish and the killings to spread to many parts of the country, inflicting greater suffering on communities who already live in constant fear of the next attack. Amnesty has been documenting clashes between farmers and herders since January 2016. But between August 2017 and September 2018, researchers conducted 10 field visits to 56 villages in 5 states. The report is based on 262 interviews with victims, eyewitnesses, community leaders, medical practitioners, religious leaders, and government officials, including members of the security forces. Researchers also analyzed 230 documents, including medical records and reports by the security forces and reports that were available in the media. Villagers that Amnesty International spoke to described losing everything as their homes were burned and their food supply scattered away by the attackers. Since 2016, both sides in the conflict have increasingly sought to destroy each other's livelihood, with herders setting fire to farms and farmers engaging in cattle rustling. When you open our report, Harvest of Death, 3 years of bloody clashes between farmers and herders, we had recorded 3,641 deaths. In 2018 alone, 57 accounted for 57% of that number. When we checked, security forces were often positioned close to the attacks, which lasted hours and sometimes days, yet were slow to act. In some cases, security forces had prior warning of an imminent raid, but did nothing to stop or prevent the killings, looting, and burning of homes. Our research shows that these attacks were well planned and coordinated, with the use of weapons like machine guns and AK-47 rifles. Yet little has been done by the authorities in terms of prevention, arrests, and prosecutions, even when information about the suspected perpetrators was made available. Between 5 January 2016 and 5 October 2018, 310 attacks were recorded. The attacks were most frequent in Benue, Adamawa, Kaduna, Taraba, and Plateau states. Other parts of the country were also affected, including Enugu, Ondo, Oyo, Delta, and Edo states. The Nigerian authorities have an obligation to protect the right to life as enshrined in the Constitution and under international and African regional human rights treaties. Yet communities told Amnesty International that when they reached out to security forces on impending attacks, no action was taken. On the 2nd of May 2018, for example, 33 villagers were killed and 5 villages touched in the Newman local government area of Adamawa State, despite security forces being informed 16 hours prior to the attack that gunmen had started gathering nearby. Villagers and a local government official phoned through the warnings from 11 p.m. on 1st of May, the night before the attack. According to The soldiers were deployed to perform a single patrol in the area on the afternoon of 2nd May, and then withdrew shortly before the attackers arrived. Villagers kept calling and complaining about the withdrawal, but when they called, the number they had was reportedly switched off. In Nasarawa State, Kokona local government area and local development area, they wrote to the Inspector General of Police on the 10th of March 2017 to protest against incessant attacks by herders. The villagers told Amnesty International that the police asked them for 150,000 naira, allegedly for logistics, which they paid. Just 3 police officers were sent, but they refused to go to the villages complaining of bad roads. Our report contains similar eyewitnesses' accounts and experiences of villages across these 5 states that Amnesty International visited. A few examples of their experiences. Amnesty International shared its findings with government authorities. Our requested information from the Ministry of Justice, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Police Force, and the state governments of Adamawa, Benue, Enugu, Kaduna, Plateau, and Taraba states. Only the Enugu state government responded to our request timely, giving information that 5 people are being prosecuted currently over the killing of 12 people in Nimbo community in Uzo Mwani local government area of the state, which was attacked on the 25th of April 2016. Benue State, however, has since sent some documents to us, but their response arrived too late to be included in this report, and we will be following up with them. The authorities must investigate the slow response time of security forces that has resulted in shockingly high casualties. Note, I have only emphasized people that were dead. We have not talked about the IDPs or several people that have been injured and maimed with life-threatening injuries as a result of these attacks. People's livelihoods that have been completely turned around for the worse. And the authorities must go further to ensure that the security forces leadership should scrutinize the role of individual commanders while governments across the affected states do a lot more to provide appropriate compensation to the victims of these conflicts. Hundreds of thousands of people have been internally displaced, increasing the already boggling number of IDPs in Nigeria. The cost of the conflict is high. The value and quality of life in affected communities is directly affecting the people from those communities, but also neighboring states who live in fear of being attacked. No one knows where next it would be. Socioeconomic opportunities are limited as destruction of property goes unpunished and people's livelihoods continue to be threatened. We call on the Nigerian authorities to immediately initiate independent, effective, and impartial investigations into all human rights violations and abuses perpetrated during the farmers and herders conflicts, whether by state or non-state actors. And those findings must be made public. And when there is sufficient admissible evidence, those responsible must face prosecution in fair trials. Amnesty International's purpose is very simple. We want an end to human rights abuses. Independent, international, and influential, we campaign for justice, fairness, freedom, and truth. And whenever we apply pressure through powerful research or direct advocacy, mass demonstrations, or online campaigning, we are inspired by a hope for a better world. One where human rights are respected and protected by everyone We call on everyone to stand for justice and human rights. We call on the Nigerian authorities to live up to their responsibilities. Enough of the killings. Protect the right to life in Nigeria. Everyone deserves to live and everyone deserves a qualitative life. The future, this crisis has taken people by surprise, but we really shouldn't be surprised because it has been building up every year. And 2018, it escalated to a very high level that means everyone can be affected. We cannot continue to be silent. We need to do something and we need to act now so that we can save not only what is left, but we can also begin to rebuild and restore confidence in these communities. And most importantly, to ensure that the elders and farmers communities are able to meet together, deliberate and find a long-lasting solution to these incessant crises and clashes and conflicts across the country. I thank you all.
That is aimed at looking for solution, that is aimed at encouraging government to take responsibility because they have the right, constitutional right to protect all Nigerians irrespective of their ethnic or religious or geographical location. So, we would like to contribute our own by further making this well-documented research to the Nigerian people, Nigerian government, and the whole international community so that we can have an end to this criminal violence attack on innocent Nigerians. So on behalf of Amnesty International, we would like to unveil this report to all of you. Thank you. Impunity, is one of the factors. Corruption in the security sector is one of the things because some people they use this as a means of prolonging the conflict. I told you that many of the government officials are taking what they call security board, which is not audited, is not monitored, is not oversighted. So they use that as a means of bringing more conflict so that they can justify the misuse of the security board. It is about corruption and irresponsible response to human lives. Government should take proactive measures to stop and prevent further occurrence of these clashes.
What would you say? Exactly. This is very true. They are too slow to respond to crisis, and apart from that, perpetrators were not punished. Perpetrators were not punished. You see, most of the times when the crisis takes place, anywhere the perpetrators were allowed to go free. Take for example, Gembu in Taraba State, where we lost about 724 people. None of the perpetrator is being arrested after today that I speak to. So long as perpetrators will be allowed to go free on both sides, we'll continue to see this crisis. Government should be up and being perpetrators should be arrested and brought to book and prosecuted. Out because of the international transfer rules we have that traverse through Nigeria. We have an international route. Nigeria is part of the ECOWAS. We have a international transfer rules that is covered by the ECOWAS treaty and it has traversed through Nigeria. So this also cannot be ruled out. Criminals are responsible for their attack, not our members.
Thank you so
because
much.
Our members are not also spared by the criminals.
From Plateau State, we lost, within our community, we lost more than 250 farmers as a result of this clash. And not only farmers have been killed, we have pastors too, churches have been burnt, houses destroyed, farms destroyed. If you recall in 2017, people were also killed inside classrooms, whereby the Nigerian army called them for protection, but they failed in doing that. About 29 people were killed there. Inside that class, nothing has been done, and nothing, despite all evidence will be given to the security, nothing will be crying loud to the Nigerian government to do something over this, to work on those areas. These farmers that have been